Hello and welcome to a whole new episode of The Week Gone By. I am Onindo and I will bring to you all the news that made the headlines during the past week. Now, after nearly a grueling 1.5 months and 49 matches, the world has found itself a new champion. India beat Sri Lanka in the finals at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai to lift the cup for the second time after a wait of 28 years.
The president of the ICC. The party begins in Mumbai.
The magnificent Team India kept its cool to beat Sri Lanka by 6 wickets in the final of the World Cup, and it was Indian skipper MS Dhoni who hit the winning runs by swatting a huge 6 over the long-on boundary. And in the other end, it was Yuvraj Singh who remained unbeaten at 21.
And it's got to be a special moment for every single one of those members of the team and support team. Fireworks will be going all night. The party will go all night and all day.
When India started their batting, it was Lasith Malinga who gave India 2 blows early on in the innings. The Sri Lankan pacer first dropped Virendra Sehwag right in front of the wickets and then followed it up with getting Sachin Tendulkar caught behind the wickets. But after that, Gautam Gambhir came down to bat and shared a vital 83-run stand with the young Virat Kohli. Kohli got out to Dilshan and then Gambhir got another able partner in MS Dhoni, who himself played some delightful strokes on his way to a wonderful 50. Gambhir was however bowled when he was just a few runs away from his ton, and it was Yuvraj Singh who replaced him. Dhoni played the captain's knock and Yuvraj gave him the right support, and with just 4 runs needed, Dhoni punched the ball out of the park and billions of Indians erupted in joy.
Next time India played the World Cup 2015, there were some members of the 2003 team who had suffered in the finals against Australia. Some of them are here now as winners. For them it will be a moment to rejoice, a moment again that they will remember forever.
In the first innings, India gave away 63 runs during the batting power play in the dead overs as Jayawardene's blazing century powered Sri Lanka to a challenging 274 for 6. The experienced Jayawardene first played cautiously during the middle innings, but he opened his shoulders once he got a more than helpful partner in the form of Nuwan Kulasekara. Zaheer Khan and Yuvraj Singh picked up 2 wickets each for Indians, while Harbhajan Singh took 1 wicket after Sri Lankan skipper Kumara Sangakkara won the toss and elected to bat first. After the match, the young brigade gave the Master Blaster a fitting respect by carrying him around the ground on their shoulders. Also on the other hand, it was Muthaiya Muralidharan who bid adieu to international cricket on the very same day. Dhoni was chosen the man of the match for his 91 and Yuvraj Singh got man of the tournament. Tilakaratne Dilshan was the highest scorer in the tournament and Shahid Afridi was the best bowler after taking 21 wickets. Well, everything can wait for another 4 years. But for now, India are the champions of the world and it is their time to bask in this glory for the next 4 years.
Well, on one hand, the Prime Minister of the two countries met on the sidelines of the cricket match, but on the other hand, the top officials from both India and Pakistan met last week for peace talks in New Delhi.
India hailed the peace talks with Pakistan as extremely positive after top officials from both the countries met in New Delhi in India. Home secretaries from the two nations met in New Delhi to discuss counter-terrorism, the 2008 Mumbai attacks and the drugs trade. After a 6-hour-long first round of meeting, India's GK Pillai said that the talks were extremely positive and that progress was made in the right direction.
Yes, the talks were extremely positive and there have been some positive developments.
And it was then on Tuesday that Home Secretaries of both countries, GK Pillai and his Pakistani counterpart Chaudhry Qamar Zaman Khaira, finished their talks in Delhi. Stating that the meeting took place in a cordial and friendly atmosphere, the two neighbours also agreed that it was important to remain engaged on outstanding issues. Thus, it was decided that from now on the Home Secretaries will meet twice every year.
Now, it was last week that Pakistan People's Party decided to get the case of judicial murder of former Pakistani Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto reopened. The Pakistan People's Party described the capital punishment awarded to its founding chairman in the Mahmood Raza Kasori murder case as a judicial murder and vowed to get the verdict reversed through a review petition. It was early on Monday that Pakistan's federal cabinet approved the reopening of late Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's murder case. The decision was taken following a cabinet meeting in Islamabad, which was chaired by Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani. During the meeting, Minister of Information and Broadcasting Firdaus Ashiq Awan said that the cabinet has discussed the issue in detail and has unanimously approved reopening the case. Finally, it was on Friday that President Asif Ali Zardari signed the reference to reopen the case of judicial murder of former Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and the reference will now be sent to the Supreme Court. President Zardari signed the reference in the presence of Law Minister Babar Awan and Sindh Home Minister Zulfikar Mirza under Article 186 of the Constitution. Now, but it wasn't only in Pakistan that innocent civilians were dying. Even in Afghanistan, NATO soldiers were to be blamed for killing 2 Afghan civilians. Meanwhile, in a public statement, Hamid Karzai condemned the actions of 5 soldiers who were charged with murder for the deaths of 3 unarmed Afghans during last year.
Within days of the teenage murder, foreign troops again killed 2 Afghan civilians in western southern Kandahar city on Thursday. Reports suggested that NATO soldiers opened fire after a car sped towards a checkpoint which they thought was a part of a suicide attack. Local police said that 2 civilians were killed and 4 wounded by the bullets that hit more than one car. Meanwhile, Afghan President Hamid Karzai has condemned the actions of 5 soldiers from the 5th Striker Brigade who have been charged with murder for the deaths of 3 unarmed Afghans. The troops have been charged in the United States with murder and conspiracy in slaying of 3 men in southern Afghanistan during the last year. On the other hand, a newly published data by a famous international media organization has revealed that Britain's Ministry of Defense has doled out over $2 million. The money has been given in goodwill payments to compensate the deaths, injuries and damage of hundreds of Afghan civilians. The figures obtained under Freedom of Information rules were reported by The Guardian during the last week. Also, in a recent count conducted by the Associated Press, it was found that as of March 29, 2011, at least 1,408 members of the US military had died in Afghanistan as a result of the US invasion of Afghanistan in late 2001. The AP count is 4 more than Defense Department's tally that was last updated on Tuesday. A 22-member Afghan delegation comprising of Afghan parliamentarians called on President Asif Ali Zardari on Tuesday night. The delegation was led by Syed Ishaq Gilani. Pak-Afghan bilateral relations and the current regional situation were discussed during the meeting. The Afghan president said that Pakistan stands for peaceful, stable and prosperous Afghanistan. He also reiterated that the development in Afghanistan had its direct impact on Pakistan.
Now, it was last week that the Bangladeshi Supreme Court adjourned the hearing of Muhammad Yunus's plea till April 4th. Now, the plea was filed against the High Court verdict that upheld a Bangladesh bank order removing Muhammad Yunus from the office of Grameen Bank Managing Director.
Now, after the US, the French has also expressed strong support for the independence of the Grameen Bank and demanded fair trial of Nobel laureate Professor Mohammed Yunus. Reports suggested that the French foreign minister made the comments to make clear France's position after recent attempts by the Bangladesh government to oust the Grameen Bank founder and the subsequent court hearings. Moreover, Awami League's General Secretary Syed Ashraful has reportedly said that no one-sided solution to the issue of removal of Professor Mohammed Yunus was possible despite the government's willingness for an honourable settlement. He, however, declined to elaborate on the issue since the matter was pending for a Supreme Court decision.
Now, during the past week, Nepal Prime Minister Jhalanath Khanal conveyed his keenness to visit India to Indian Ambassador Rakesh Sood, and he also asked the ambassador to make arrangements accordingly. During his meeting with Sood, Khanal had asked the Indian envoy to invite Indian External Affairs Minister S.M. Krishna to Kathmandu as early as possible so that he could visit India before his visit to Turkey in the first week of May to take part in the meeting of least developed countries. Now, reports stated last week that Sri Lanka's economy grew 8.6% in the fourth quarter of 2010, up from 6.1% a year earlier, and also higher than the 8% estimated for the third quarter. Now, in the fourth quarter, the gross domestic product deflator also rose 7.8% in the quarter from a year earlier.
Agriculture grew 6.3% from 5.5% a year earlier. Tea had fallen 1.0% with low country output falling. Value addition in rubber has grown 15.1% with strong prices helping. Coconut also fell 13.3% with low rainfall and outbreak of diseases. Paddy sector grew 31.8%. Livestock also grew by 3.7%, helped by the end of the war in east and border areas. Fishing had grown 12.1% with inland fishing up 13.5% and marine fishing up by 11.8%. Value added in industry grew 8.9%, up from 7.3% a year earlier. The Statistics Office said manufacturing grew 8.2% and mining and quarrying 15.8%. Factory industry grew by 8.8%, helped by chemicals, petroleum, rubber and plastic. Electricity, gas and water grew 8.3%, up from 5.4% a year earlier. And service, which is the largest part of the economy, grew 8.8%, up from 5.6% a year earlier. Hotels and restaurants grew 41%, transport and telecommunications 11.9%, banking, insurance and real estate 7.9%, and wholesale and retail trade by 8.4%. Export trade sector also grew 12% and the import trade grew 8.3%.
Time to wrap up this edition of The Week Gone By here. I will be back next week again with more news and updates from across South Asia. Till then, goodbye and keep watching TV South Asia.